Okay, so from the list that we built few weeks ago, we had a topic around GitHub Copilot. Now, I already have it configured on my system, but if needed, I guess we can talk about it, how to do it, and things like that uh, sometime. But let me ask this. Do you see this icon on your VS Code on top called toggle chat? And if you don't, then speak, I guess. If you see it, then that's good. Okay, it seems everybody sees it. Okay, so I'm also, I guess, pretty new into it. If you guys have done something, do let me know. But then it comes with your, it connects to your GitHub account. And Omar, you were saying something? Sorry. Okay, not. Okay, so it comes with your GitHub account. It automatically kind of forces you to connect to your GitHub account when you install. I guess let me see what the extension name is. Uh, Copilot. Yeah, so it is GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot chat. Once you install them, they get connected to your GitHub public repo, and then you then get integrated GitHub Copilot inside your VS Code. Now, as you know, that you can do different things. You might have seen some videos around it. You might have read about it. My idea is to explore it with you. I'll be doing something sideline, but I would like to kind of continue or start this journey more or less with you guys to understand how it works and what all it can do. So to begin with, we need to have this icon available, and then this open chat kind of opens the agent mode available for you. What I need, and I guess this is where I need your guys' help. I need, let's start with a very basic app, okay? A very basic customization that you can think of in Business Central. Let's start writing what we want and let's see how much Copilot can do for us. So throw me some examples, whatever you think is a simpler app more or less. And then I'll write it in front of you. We'll try it using Copilot and see how it works. So go ahead, guys. Who want to start? If I have to think, that'll take some time to think. Should I ask Copilot Gemini about it? Let me see. Okay, so I'm here on my Gemini and I'm asking it because you guys don't have any idea. If you have any thought or suggestions, I'll be happy to take those. Otherwise, I'll ask Gemini to give me a simple example.
Maybe adding a new field to a page.
Sorry?
Adding a new
New
field
field
to
to a
a
page.
page.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Kamal is saying for basic, we can do a school structure. Okay. To manage classes, exams, fees, and payment. Come on, let's do that. This is not the first and the last time we are talking about it. I'm thinking approximately 4 or 5 weeks going forward. We'll just keep doing this. Okay. So that's a good example. Come on, we'll come to that. Let's take Omar's example. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. I'm asking Gemini to write a design document for me for design document for a customization in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. The extension should add a field of type code in customer table, and also add that field in customer list and card page. That sounds fair. Anything extra we want to do? Let's deal it from a perspective of how we typically approach when a customer reaches to us. They tell us a requirement and then we build a design document about it. Let's see what it brings. Design document, version 1.0, author name. Introduction. This document outlines the design of customization on this, the primary core of customization to add a code, the customer list part, the extension using AL, and also business requirement. Okay, here it has left something. FR1, add a new field external code to customer table. The data type of the new field must be code. The new field should be visible and editable on customer card. The new field should be visible on the customer list. The extension should be packaged for easy deployment and update. Technical architecture, language AL, table extension, customer, object ID to be assigned 50,000, object name, customer extension, extend this, okay, it did a lot of things I guess into it. Okay, I don't need a illustrative I guess, but it seems a lot of things. Okay, should I just paste this? Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'll copy this. Okay, I'll paste it here on my chat, and I'll give it a context of files and folder, app.json, launch. Okay, I don't know much, but files and folder. I would like, oh, I haven't created a folder, so let me create a folder. src. Okay, let me add the context to that folder so that hopefully it places it inside this, and then also add the context of my app.json where I have details around my object IDs and all. It is set to 50100, whereas my design document here says that the ID should be 50,000. Should I give it a try? What happens? Let's see. That's pretty basic. Okay. Okay. It's reading GitHub Copilot, reading SR. Perfect. I can see that this is an AL project for Business Central with proper structure based on your design document. The ID range 50100 and 50149 are defined in the app.json. So it is kind of differing from what the context that we provided. I'll implement customer custom field extension. Let me create the necessary object, table extension for customer, page extension for customer, page extension for customer list. Let's start by creating a table extension. It says created. The error indicates that customer table reference need to be more specific. Let me check the AL configuration and update, and it did some update. Let me create customer card page extension. Now customer list extension. I see that the compilation errors are there. Not being resolved to standard BC object. This is a common with AL development, not fully configured with proper dependencies. Let me check if there is a launch file. VS Code launch file, read it. The project is configured for BC26. The compilation is expected in VS Code without proper AL symbol download. Okay, so what it is doing, Copilot will create AL build with ALC argument. Okay, let me see what it is doing. But I have the symbols downloaded. Why did not read that? And let's see what it did in the meantime. So it created a customer table extension and it did not found the customer table. Let me reload this. Okay, it created this, and then on the customer list it added it after the name, and on the customer card it also added it after the name. Oh, but it missed my prefix. Okay, let me ask it to kind of do that. Can we record this? I'm trying that, Vasanta. If it gets recorded, great. If it doesn't, I guess people who would be looking it for on YouTube, they're lost. But I'm trying that. If that happens, great. Okay. So it did everything, it seems, but it did not added my prefix. So I might have to explain it. Okay. Um, Business Central requires prefix on all custom objects and fields in add and new fields that are added. My prefix is, let's say, SDH. Can you update all objects with prefix? Hopefully it does it on all the fields. It should, but let's see. Okay, so it did add the prefix on the object name for the table extension and also on the field name, and but it did not change the caption, which is what we were expecting, I guess. And then it also added on the customer list and on the customer card. Perfect. So it changed that. Field name is changed. This and this, this and this. Okay. Anything else that we are missing here? Can you also write an automated test to test this functionality? Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay. How many of us create tests when we write code? Because what I have heard is that it's pretty good in writing test for sure. For complex customization, it kind of does not understand the business central as a product of how it works, how accounting works and all, but it does uh, things pretty well. Okay, so now it says that there are libraries missing. So it is writing some test, it seems, but it is not. Oh, so it did write the test first. Let me see. Yeah, it did write the test, but now it is saying because it has a dependency on the external test libraries, I'm going to rewrite those. So this might be the last time we are seeing this, but let's see what happens. Okay, but let's see what it is doing. It wrote a test of subtype test, and then it, for whatever reason, it gave it a scope on prem, which is not what I was expecting. Verify that the STH external code field exists in customer table. It created a rec reference, a field ref reference, and then it, oh, okay, so it rewrote that code. And now it should create a test runner. Okay, so it checks that is the field exists or not. If exists, then it should not, it is not found. If it is not code, oh, so it is doing pretty basic test that the field is set correctly as expected, which is that it has the ID this, it has the field name as this, the data type is code, the length is 20, and if everything succeeds, your first test kind of succeeds over there. Okay, what is the second test? It creates a test customer, which Earlier it was using the Microsoft libraries, which allows you to kind of do things automatic, but then it did not found references of it into my code. So it created, I guess, a local function somewhere, yes, to create a test. And then it said to create a customer, test customer, and inserted it. And then it assigned the value and modified the customer record. So customer has the value. Now it'll check that the customer has value matching or not, and the test is successful. Now if it's a test function, do I need to delete it? I doubt that I need to. Okay. The another test is uppercase conversion, because it's a code field, so it understands that any text put into this field will be automatically converted to uppercase. So it is checking that it is the expected value matches to the uppercase, which is a test, I guess. Verify the external code enforces a 20 character limit. Okay, so this is pretty basic test, I guess. It cannot write multiple tests, but it is just randomly adding text into it. Trims spaces. Okay, so it's just checking all the code related feature. Whenever you have a code field, what you need to have, it is just verifying all that thing, right? So this is all basic code testing. Can be filtered, okay, and then it applies the set range if it is fine. Okay, because the project is smaller, it did not, and I didn't expected it to write pretty detailed test because the functionality is pretty small. So it is just going around loops of what all it can do to test that functionality. Do you want to add more into this functionality? I'll just remove the text test part. So now we have the field on customer table. What do we want from this? I would like to have I would like to have, I hate to use this word, but that's the first thing that come to my mind. External code field in sales header, and on the respected page, on the associated pages, the value should automatically flow to sales header when a customer is chosen in the sales transactions. Okay, so I'm saying now I have the field on the customer. Let's move a little bit ahead. I should have a proper design document for it, to be very fair, but I'm just trying to play with it to see how much it can do, right? So it first created a sales header table extension. I need to use the correct trigger for when customer is selected. Let me fix this by field specific trigger. Okay, so it is doing something. Now let me create sales order page extension. That seems created. Let's see on the sales order, sales header extension what happened. Okay. Okay. Now that's his style, but that's the style that I don't like. As in, that's not the right approach. Not I don't like, but that's not the right approach of doing it. Let's see. Let it finish whatever it is doing. So I automatically thought that if I'm creating on the sales header, I'll also need it into the sales invoice. What is the sales invoice? Oh, this is a page extension. Okay. And this is the page extension again. It did add it on the sales order list page, set it to visible false, and then it can be available by personalization. also on the sales quote list. And then this is adding what? Oh, test. It's stuck on the text. Let it do that, and then I'll remove it. But what we want instead of this, whatever is happening here, is not this. Okay, we want it to use a event subscriber, not modifying the sell to customer number trigger on the table. And as in, that's okay, but this is not the right way. So should I ask it to correct this particular code? Let's try that. This approach is incorrect. Instead of modifying triggers of base Microsoft fields, you should have found the right event and created a subscriber for event and added code in subscriber. I'm pretty bad with the prompts, but let's see. Pretty basic prompts. Okay, now it's accepting that it's wrong. You're absolutely right. Using event subscriber is a correct and safer approach. Instead of modifying the base Microsoft fields trigger, let me fix it by creating proper event subscriber. So it did remove that code from here, and now it's creating a SDH sales header events code unit. Hopefully, I need to use the correct field name. Let me check what the actual field names are to fix the event subscriber. So it is doing something. Let's have a look while it is doing it. Oh man. On after validate of sell to customer number, on after validate of bill to customer number, on after insert, on after modify. Seriously. Okay, let it do everything whatever it is doing. Okay, it is also explaining what it is doing. Okay, I'm not going to kind of waste time into it, but let's try to read this and then try to, and if it is smaller, let me know. I'll zoom this. Okay, so let me zoom this. Okay, so instead of modifying the trigger, it picks up the on after validate trigger, which may be compiling, and I am not of the faith of saying anything that compiles is fine, right? But then it should have found a better event rather than using the on validate event. And let's see. Let me kind of try to tell it a little bit more. On after something copy customer, right? Nah. Sell to customer number. Okay. Sell to customer number. What we expect it to do is okay, get customer from this sell to customer number on validate and on validate customer blocked on document. Which one you guys will prefer? There are a lot of events. Nice.
The second one.
The second one, which is this one,
Yes.
on validate sell to customer number on before check block customer document. What does this does? Okay. At this point, the customer has been received. Okay, let's train
It
this.
will check that customer is blocked or not.
Okay,
So if we add anything that if customer is blocked, we can stop that transaction.
right.
I write that code today, so
Okay,
I remember that.
nice. Okay, great job. But I still think that event you chose is not correct. How about using this event? Now, as per Microsoft, and I'm a little bit confused about it because the code is available on GitHub from Microsoft. It's not well versed with the Microsoft AL code or Business Central code. So somehow, uh, in a way, Microsoft somehow should be kind of training the models against all base code so that it can use it. Now it says you are absolutely right, using this specific event is much better and generic. This is a specific event published by Microsoft in the sales header table for exactly this kind of customization. Okay, and it is doing some changes here, and I don't understand why it is doing it twice. Oh, one is sell to and one is build to. So it's trying to kind of validate both of them. Okay, let's see. Let it fix. Okay.
Also, we had get today the new Git repos of 26.3.
Yeah, mine is still on 26.1, but yeah, 26.3 is available. My environment from where I downloaded the symbol is 26.1. So I guess it's reading it from there, but let's see. So what it did now, it said that okay, I'll pick this event which you have said, and hopefully you remember it, Copilot, going forward. But then if customer dot if sales header dot customer is not equal to blank, then customer dot get, and then update this. Why there is an update function? Oh, is it needed? And what is this? This is, let's see, this is sell to customer number, bill to customer number. Let's assume that's correct. And then on after validate of this sell to customer number. Why I need that? I don't need that. Okay, I don't think we need to subscribe to this. I'm always right, but why you are not understanding that? You do remove that, but okay. Now here is what I'm, and maybe this is completely wrong. What I'm thinking right now, when you ask it to do something, and hopefully as we go forward, and as I do my learning, as you guys do your learning, and then we talk about in these meetings about those learnings, I still think that yes, the code compiles, and now I'm kind of worried about the newbies who are trying to use Copilot as it is. The code compiles, they might deploy it, and it might work, right? As we saw in these three iterations. But the thing is, it is not the right style. As you can see, I'm kind of keep talking to it, trying to kind of correct this every time it is doing that, right? And remember, the word is co-pilot, so it'll help you to write the code, but is it the right code just because it's compiling? I would still think about it. Okay, so now it's here. What do we want next? It's added on the sales header, the sales order list, sales order page extension, sales order list is there. Okay, let me ask it one weird thing. Can you please rename all files? All files should have same name as of extension, and they all should end with object type, like page extension ends with page extension.al. Okay, I don't want to manually do all this, Okay, so it's asking for permission to do that. Let me give that permission. Okay, it ran some command, PowerShell commands, I guess. Oh, the DOS prompt command, and now it is run command in terminal. Okay, it did found only 3 object. Okay, let me also check the test file. Okay, it's doing something. Okay, now what is, and you can tell me in chat if needed, what does your folder structure look like on your project? Is it src and then inside that each object type and things like that, or something else?
Yes, as you said, mine is src, then object type.
Object type, okay. Okay, I'm interested in looking at it because it's one of the common things that when you do a project and you forgot to kind of correct the names and all, then you end up kind of manually doing it. But let's see, can you do that? The basic things, I guess, where it saves time for us. Okay. Oh man, I should not have said test because it now starts checking for every test. I might have to tell it to kind of remove everything that is text. Okay. So for the next week, what I need, and Kamal, if you can help us, whatever you are thinking, if we can have you know, a brief discussion about it, so that then I can ask Copilot to kind of generate a design document for us. And then what we'll do next week, we'll spend a good amount of time with that document. I'll try to refine it if I can, and then we'll use that document uh, to use for the development completely.
Sure.
You know, because with the small project, it makes sense. It can do basic thing, and still there are some issues and errors that we saw. But I would like it to kind of do it in a way that I, you know, we have a good context associated with it, and then it does the things. So right now, if you look at it, it starts renaming objects. It is doing for everything. Okay, but the problem is it always asks me to continue, which is odd. Should have done it automatically. Okay. Should I ask it to organize it into the folders? Because that'll be a nightmare if it is going to ask me permission before moving every file. Okay.
There may be settings for it on just below the
Oh,
your
here
writing
somewhere.
command. Yeah, maybe because other agents have it.
Oh yeah, there might be. Yeah, that
For
sounds good.
example, Windsor has it, or
Yeah,
permissions like that. Maybe.
and remember we have not saved anything yet. It's all in progress. If you see, there are 15 changes that it have made based on the different requests that we have made to it, right? But yeah, I would still suggest that it's a co-pilot, and we'll use it as we go forward in coming weeks, and see how it does with a longer or a bigger project. I might design the project as Kamal have sent, or if Kamal replies me something, a detailed document, that'll be great. Otherwise, I'll try to refine it as much as I can, and then see how it goes. Okay, what it is doing perfect. Now all files are consistent. Let me create a summary. No, I don't want a summary. Okay. Can you organize the SRC folder as per the best practice says for managing AL code? Okay, let's see what it finds on internet. Oh, because it is doing a documentation about it, whatever it has changed, which is, I don't know why it does that, but it does it. Okay. Can you organize the source folder as per the best practices for managing AL code? Let's see. Okay. I'm interested to see what it finds on the web. That what is the recommended folder structure? Oh, no surprise. Okay, it still remembers the old folder structure, which is the tables, pages. Hopefully, it doesn't need code units, and what else? Test. Okay, because there are some test file. You don't keep your test with the project ever. Interestingly, it created a folder called customers and sales. Okay, now that's interesting, because I was reading somewhere that there is a different way of organizing your code than by placing them inside an object type folder. Like setups, master data, and things like that. But it didn't seem to do that. It kind of creates it and then keeps creating it. It kind of seems stuck into a loop. But let's see what's inside
I
there. Go ahead.
I think it is, yeah, it is for different types.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, keep moving, guys. Don't stop. Okay, so start moving things. So it created a code unit with respect to sales, with respect to this, but I think there is a different architecture. I don't know it's pretty well documented or not. Otherwise, it would have found that and would have utilized that structure that we are saying. Okay. Okay, what else we can do with this? Now we have a field on the customer table that's available on the customer list and the customer card page. And that field is also available into the sales header table and associated pages. Whenever the customer chooses customer number on the sales order, the value of the respective field moves from the customer to the sales header. What next, guys? We have 20 minutes to give it a try again. If you have some other thoughts.
Also in test and page folders, icons are different.
On test and pages. I guess these are based on Kamal, what VS Code icons you are using. So it just creates themes based on the names, right? So this is nothing GitHub doing. I guess you have icon themes. I guess I have these customized themes, right? So based on what theme you are using, your folders are different based on what name you give it to it. Okay. So hopefully it have moved the right folders and files into the right tables, right structures. Okay, that looks good. The pages related to customer are here. The pages related to sales are here. It did add it on credit memo, which is surprising. Okay. What else? What do we want to do next with this customization that you guys started with the field on the customer?
We can flow it on all the respective tables like sales archive and respective to all like customer ledger and retail.
Hmm, that makes sense. Let this time
Because
let
in
yeah.
sometimes
Go
some
ahead,
of
please.
the events are not there.
Yeah. Let me this time ask Gemini to write a design document based on what we want. Um, because I guess it's working best with the design document than me giving inputs to it. Write a design document for customization business central. The extension have a field of type code in customer table and in sales header table. Okay, let me change this. The document on sales header table. Sales header table. New requirement is to have it available in sales archive documents and also available in customer ledger after the sales order is posted. Okay. Anything else that I'm missing? I don't want to kind of come here and kind of do that.
Shipment table, other tables.
Okay. On sales header archive documents, mm, customer ledger, and posted shipment documents after the sales order is posted. Okay. Let's see what happens now. What it brings to me. This is the old one. Let's come down. So thinking. Okay, here is an updated explanation. This document outlines the design of a customization. Okay, this has been already done. Design document version 2.0. Okay, I'm not going to read this. Let me just copy paste this. Oh, still writing. Oh, this is still writing it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Here is a updated design document. Skip sections that you have already processed and implement rest. Okay, let's see what happens. And I need to remove the context of the current file. How I do that? Let me close all of these. Okay. Okay. So now I started reading the updated design document, which came from the Gemini, and it is reading it, and it says it seems you need a new table extension for sales header archive, customer ledger entry, and sales shipment header. You also need new page extension for sales archive, posted sales shipment, and customer ledger entry. Enhanced event subscriber for posting process archive, shipment ledger entry. Let me implement it. So first it starts with creating the archive table, which seems here. Then it starts customer ledger entry extension, which seems here. Then it also creates the header or sales shipment header table, so it's there. Now it started creating pages, sales archive extension. Okay, it still does not reads it correctly. There's no sales archive table, but let's wait for it. We'll analyze that there are some errors. We'll try to find the right table hopefully. And also the customer ledger entry. Oh, the name is big as it tries to copy the whole name into it. So let's see what happens. And then it I have two errors right now. Now it says that there is a object length issue, so it's trying to fix that. Okay, that seems fixed now. So it changed it to cust ledger entries, and still did not pay attention to one of the object. It is creating another object for sales posting event. We'll look at it. And I'm still confused about the sales archive page why I did not correct it, but let's see. Okay, it's trying to work on the event subscription. We'll see what kind of events it chooses. Is it able to kind of read from the patterns that is available on Microsoft GitHub, or it's just randomly trying to kind of satisfy the requirement by writing the basics. Okay, so it says let me fix customer ledger entry logic by removing the incorrect field reference. Okay, done that. What else? Again the test files, sorry. Okay, so we have the customer ledger entry. It did mess up the sales archive. We'll wait for it to complete the testing, and I hope then it reviews it. But in the meantime, let's see the posting.
In
Oh,
sales archive, we need to add sales header archive.
yeah, and I'm hoping it picks it. But let's see. Okay, in the meantime, let's look at the review the event that it have used on the sales post on after insert shipment header. Okay, it is trying to modify the sales shipment header. Can't it do before that? There is a way that happens before the insert happens, so that it can kind of fix it. Okay, here is the on after insert. Let's see. Now this one. Okay, so it picked on after one, but it should be this, as in you don't need it because it hopefully it has the same ID. Let me see, where is the table extensions for sales. So sales header have the field at 50100. Sales shipment header also have the field at 50100. So technically speaking, it does not need that particular event, to be very fair. And for whatever reason, it also did it for invoice, which I didn't need it. Okay. But coming back to the code, because that's where I guess I'm a little bit worried by looking at the code that it is writing. That tomorrow everybody who doesn't know about Business Central start, using Copilot and start writing test and end up, code, and start ending up with all this code. Okay, it is just changing something. So let me wait. I should have waited for it, but let's see. Okay. First, this is wrong. This should not be, is not required. Even if it is required, this is the wrong event, because you should not be modifying document as they are being posted. It should have been handled after transfer field was done. Same here, this is also wrong. On after insert customer credit memo header. Okay, now it's going everywhere in the same style, which I don't like. Customer ledger entry. Now this is interestingly wrong, completely wrong. But let's see what it took. It took the on after insert of the table and said that if it is an invoice or a credit memo and the document number is not equal to blank, then you need to find the sales header, which is odd because sales order may have been deleted if it is a complete posting. You can't update it this way. Okay, so this is completely wrong. So guys who are new and thinking, okay, Copilot solves all my problem, sorry. It did pick the right event here if needed. On after, there is a on before. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. There is an on before store document. On after sales document, this is after sales line has been processed. So this is sales at archive, calculate this, transfer field. First, it is not needed. Again, the ID remains same. But even if it is needed, it should have picked this. And guys, correct me wherever you think I'm saying wrong something, okay? I don't think these are the right events. Oh man. So even subscriber, very bad. Go ahead, Sahif, you have something to say?
Yeah, Saurav, our question is what's happening today? We are creating a extension using
This
GitHub
is happening
Copilot
today.
and using Gemini.
Sorry, using?
Okay, I got it. We are using AI tool Copilot, but what's today we are making means for what's about this extension? What's the
Oh, so
purpose
we,
of
we,
making
we,
this?
we started talking about it in this meeting itself. We have a plan for the next meeting where Kamal have suggested doing a basic school structure. We'll write a design document for it. But this week we started by just starting it from asking questions. Omar suggested to add a field on the customer table. We asked it to add a field on the customer table and the pages. It did that. Then we became a little bit hungry. We said, okay, let's add it on the sales header table and the associated pages, and also make sure that the value flows. So it created those extension object, and then it was wrong in the event. So we told it that you are wrong, and then it corrected event by itself. Then somebody suggested, why not post it? Kamal suggested, I guess, and then we started going into the posting routine, which you are doing right now. Okay, so let me,
Okay,
yeah,
means we are not doing any specific things in this customer extension or customization. I'm right.
yeah,
Just checking how things are working and how Copilot is working now and how is making folder structure like that.
right.
Oh, got it.
Um, Let me ask it simply, without suggesting what should be the right event. Subscribe events are incorrect. I think you should be looking for better events. Uh, and if the IDs are same in source and target table, then will transfer fields handles it, update sales posting events accordingly. Okay, let us ask the
You
last
can
question.
add
Go ahead.
that in that.
Sorry.
You can add that in that are events are incorrect or not found.
Yeah, the
As
events are
it's
found. The
only
only one.
correct
Yeah, this one is
thing
wrong,
that
right?
events in that I had tried that in past, as it's suggested that events are there, so incorrect events they take, but they don't know that the events are exist or not. So
Hmm. Okay, now it's kind of trying to answer in a pretty logical way. It says you are absolutely right. Let me analyze the Business Central posting events more carefully and uses the proper event with transfer field method when appropriate. The current events may not be optimal ones, and transfer field can automatically handle the same ID. Now here is something interesting. Searched VS Code API for Business Central sales post event on after insert header and on after credit memo and on after sales invoice header transfer field. Okay, so it's actually going somewhere and searching for it. Sorry, that this is handled correctly, but let's see. Okay. Okay, it accepted that, and now it is trying to. Okay, it's still working. So here, look at it. Okay, now this is interesting. Search Microsoft AL app extension for sales postcode unit event on after sales shipment header insert on after this and this and this, and it found some of it. So it's actually going to the public repos that are available, and uh, hopefully, and if you look at it, it is not utilizing the standard 80 or 90. It is actually looking for the other apps which are subscribing to that. So these are Czech Republic objects, I guess, where they are utilizing some of the event. Based on the research, I see that the correct events are different from which I initially used. Let me use this signature and this, and it is doing something. And Prem, you are saying something. You can change variable name. Oh, that invoice variable name. Yeah, I can. But the event is wrong completely. First, it's a transfer field, so you don't need an event to begin with. Second, even if it is using an event, using on after insert does not make sense. It should have done it on before insert of the shipment header and the invoice header, because uh, then there is no modify needed. It would have handled it with the standard code. Okay, so let's see what it is doing, because it's still trying to do that. Okay, and then it is continuously making changes into this file naming. So if you look at it, as we were talking about it, it is creating notes for it, and hopefully we'll be able to utilize this file going forward, because this is a what is that thing? I forgot. Uh, okay, YAML file, right? So let me see if I have a YAML reader somewhere. YAML. Oh, not here. Sorry. Extension. YAML preview. Can I see a preview of YAML file? Okay, let's see.
I think it is an markdown file, not YAML.
Oh, it's a markdown file. Oh yeah, sorry. It's a markdown file. Let's see, is there a markdown preview?
It is
Markdown.
just to reference.
Yeah, this seems good. Okay, so we'll read it what it has done rather than me trying to read the markdown file. Okay, so in the meantime, let's look at this. Okay, what it did. It didn't still understood this using the current event for sale posting uh, most of the copying. So if it can handle it, why you are adding this event? Same for this, why you are adding this event? Same for this, why you are adding this event? And this is not what is this? Okay, now this has been changed to go into customer ledger entry on after post sales stock. Okay, this seems a little bit correct than the others. Run with check on sales post and on after post sales doc, it gives you that event. But then again, you're trying to modify the customer ledger entry, which is no, I don't like this because there are events available to assign it to customer ledger entry rather than modifying it. But hopefully this file, let me see. How I see that file in that extension. Okay. Feature activation on language markup command. Preview. Okay, let me see. Markdown preview. Okay, let me see what this does. No, it is doing something else. But okay, I'll have to kind of see this later on. But it does create every log of the things that you are asking it, not from a command perspective, but whatever it is doing. Right? So it is creating that log. So based on our first meeting, which is today, about this, I would still urge people who are using Copilot, and I'm using it. It's good for writing code, but you can't just blindly rely on what it is writing. Remember, it's a Copilot. It helps you to generate the code, but is it generating the right code or not? That's something you will have to check manually. The problem is that it still compiles, and I hate to say this, but anything that compiles is not production ready, right? So we need to kind of figure that out, because here, if you look at it, after we kind of trained it, it said yes, for sales header archive, the archive management code uses transfer field. Since our field id matches, no explicit handling should be needed, which is correct. It did said it here also, but still then it generated these three useless events subscriber, which are not needed, and the last one which it generated didn't look that promising, because it should have been handled somewhere else rather than handling it here. Okay, any thoughts, anyone? Nothing. Kamal, will you be able to kind of draft a little bit of more design, not the complete design document? I'll ask Copilot to kind of write that for me. But if you can just generate a simple design for it, what you need and all, And then next week we'll I'll work before the meeting is I'll make sure that we have a pretty well defined design document, and we'll see how it turns up when we use it for a pretty big, detailed project, more or less.
Sure, I will try to create it by Monday or Tuesday.
No rush. That'll work. Anyone else? Any questions from this or other than this? That's okay.
Sarah, it's working free of cost. Yeah, it's paid version with the.
Now that's a good question. So there is a free version available. I don't know how many tokens are available there. I have a paid version also, but there is a free version that's available for GitHub Copilot. There might
You are using there is paid version.
I'm using the paid version, but there
Okay.
is a free version available.
Okay.
I think that the number of tokens would be different. That means how many times you can call it and all in a month or so. But other than that, it works in the same way. As you would have seen on my screen, I'm using the Claude Sonnet 4 model. Claude Sonnet. There are different models that you can choose from, right? But I had more success with this model whenever I use it on my work to kind of at least generate the code so that I don't have to write it from the scratch. I would rather spend time on reviewing and fixing the code wherever it went wrong. But this model is one of the good model that I'm using. I think you will get these two for with the free edition, and then these are the premium models. I'm not sure what you get with the free version, but I'm pretty sure you get a free version available for it.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Anything?
In that, I had got some of the readings that in GitHub Copilot it take your code as a reference for that. So
Yeah.
in some of the companies are they don't allow them to use directly.
No, no. So the thing is that we need to understand that when you go into your GitHub, right? When you configure it for the first time, it asks you permission to only read your public repos. One thing, right? So it does not read anything that you have marked private. It will only read all the repos which you have set as public. So I have some public repos and then I also have a private repo, right? Additionally, I don't know that everybody have moved to GitHub or people for their customers are still using DevOps, because we use DevOps for our customers, and then GitHub is everybody's personal account, right, where people keep their code. Now, other things that you use on your VS Code associated with AI, the beauty of giving it access to your private public repos is that it understands your style of coding. So, if let's say, I don't have an example right now, but if I go into this pretty big code and I have given access to the copilot, which I'll have to give, there's no other way, and it understands that I don't like a function to be more than, let's say, 10 lines of code. So as soon as I do a ask copilot, it automatically understand that what I'm what my style is, because it have read all my public repos, and then it executes the action that I'm asking it based on what it have learned from my code. And the beauty is that your public repo code, which is available on your GitHub, is also used to train the model, so that when I'm doing something which Kamal have done in the past, I'll get a reference. The Copilot will get a reference from there and start suggesting code for me from there. So yes, companies should not be giving access, and that's where I guess the differentiation of where you keep your customers code versus where you keep your public code. So I use GitHub for my personal account for whatever I do in these meetings and other meetings, and then we use DevOps for our customer account. So these two are separate spaces, so it doesn't overlap when I configure GitHub. And if you have a business account, Kamal, on GitHub because your company uses it, create a separate account for you on GitHub with your personal email ID. That way, you are not interacting with your customer code, and it's not associated with your company's email. So that way, you'll be able to kind of give access to it.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything? Okay, Prem is typing something, so I'm waiting for Prem to type. But yeah, in the meantime, if there is nothing, then I'll see you next week. Hopefully, once Kamal provides me, I get some time and I kind of design the document. I'll make sure that I have that ready before the sessions, and then we'll see how it works. It's more about understanding how I'm very sure that we should be using Copilot for our jobs. Okay, but till what point we can blindly faith on it is, I guess that's where my thin line is. That's where I want to understand where that thin line is. That okay, till this point I have made my mind that I'll not go into it, but to do these basic stuff I'm so confident. So let's say I open VS Code empty and I say it to set up AAL project for me with the right folder structure and all. So that thing that I do whenever a new project start, I don't have to do it manually. I can tell it to GitHub Copilot and it does for me. Or let's say the table extension or page extension, which is doing pretty great, makes sense because the amount of time that I'll be spending in doing the same thing will be drastically reduced if I use Copilot. But can I blindly believe into it? I don't think so at this moment, at least from the AL perspective. I can't speak for other languages, but for AL, I don't think it's that point in time where you can just run through it and leave it. You can't deploy it on production, the code that is generated by AI. Okay, then. Okay, guys, then and girls, see you next week. Till then, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Okay. So this was our first attempt onto the GitHub Copilot, as in we have tried it in the past, but this was kind of a new revised attempt on GitHub Copilot. If you have any questions after watching this recording on YouTube, if it gets converted to YouTube, you know the drill. Let us know into the comment section. Try to join us next week. As we were discussing in this meeting, we'll try again with maybe a better formatted document. If we are doing something wrong or we are missing something, again, let us know into the comment and I'll make sure that we include it into our next session. There is a Teams community available where all these meetings and other quizzes around Business Central are happening. So if you're not there yet, you'll find the link to join the community on the pinned comment and the description of this video. Go ahead, click on that link and join us. We are a community of 319 Business Central developers and consultant, and we have a lot of fun there. So if you don't want to miss the fun, join us there using that link. I'll see you sooner than later, and in the meantime, keep watching, keep sharing the content if it is useful, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you and have a nice day.